Happy January. This is more of a sit-down talking head video, so if you just want to turn me on in the background and, you know, listen rather than watch, it's not going to be super visually pleasing, so don't feel like you're going to be missing anything if you don't watch this video. This is more of just an update to keep you all in the loop. If you follow my content closely, then you'll probably notice that I haven't been posting all that much, even on Instagram, especially not here on YouTube all that much this month. But the good news is that's all due to the fact that I'm getting better at recognizing the symptoms of burnout approaching. Now, I'm not burnt out because I'm recognizing those symptoms and stopping myself from overworking myself and overproducing any content just for the sake of producing content. So I'm not burnt, but I know that if I would have continued on my schedule, then I would have been. And let me tell you, this is one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in this career. Anytime I've ever tried to take a break, and anybody who's close to me will know that I'm always talking about taking breaks, and then I just won't. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go offline for like 2 weeks, and I just won't. And it's partially because A, I fucking love my job, and B, it's just that brainwashed mentality of you have to grind, you have to work. All your worth is within what you create, what you make, and what you put out into the world. When I know that that's not true, but when you're taught that from a little babe all the way up to now, it's kind of hard to just deconstruct that. So it's not something like when I used to serve, to just go to work and get in whatever hours and try to work for your tips and then come back home and just turn it off. You know, you're not at work anymore, so you just can turn it off. Being a creator or having your own business, which I'm sure many of you understand, it's all the time. Even if you don't want it to be, it's all the time. And it's so hard to turn it off and figure out where that balance is, because I also just take videos and photos all the time of my friends, of myself, of my adventures, of my art that I do, you know, my family, whatever. And that's kind of a good line where I can see of like, I understand that is for me, that's for them. That's not content. I don't want to monetize that. I don't want to make money off of that. And while granted, I do like to still post things about my friends and like, you know, the absolute chaos that they are, that's more for fun. You know, I'm not, those reels or the TikToks that I make of them are not monetized. I just post them because they're funny. Well, there was that one video that I had everybody do crafts and stuff, but that was more of just, I wanted them to be involved in my work. I like having them involved in my witchy stuff, and I thought it'd be fun, and it was fun, you know, but that's that kind of fine line of, I understand that this is work and this is not. And when your work is a lot about something that you do in your life, such as witchcraft or pole, it is very hard to define that line. You know, things that the thing about witchcraft or just practicing in general, it's so ingrained in your life, and it is in little things. It's not, you know, of course there is like, okay, I am doing a ritual, I am doing a spell, I'm doing something witchy, right? That, yes, you can kind of teeter over and be like, okay, I can also create content out of this. However, it's so personal, and so it's hard to define what should be content and what shouldn't. And the demands are all over the place as well. So as much as you want to listen to your audience, because, you know, you want to help them. That's the whole point of this channel, is to help people. But at the same time, you know, creators don't owe their audience an invasive view of their practice or their life. And you've heard this you've heard this conversation time and time again across creators, I'm sure, whether that be creators that are on the witchy side of things, art side of things, entertainment, like gamers. But it's weird to sit down and do something like, oh, I'm just reading a book that I got on witchcraft. And knowing where to draw that line of, is this just a book that I'm going to enjoy and maybe throw in later and say, oh, this is a good book on this topic, or do I need to be thinking about content in mind while I'm reading this book? Do I need to have my journal next to me, taking notes of the things that I did like, the things that I didn't? Would I recommend this to a beginner in order to create a video and make content with that book? So now in turn, sitting and reading that book now has pressure to it because it is part of work. Whereas prior to making these videos, it was just sitting and reading a book and enjoying it. And if I liked it, I liked it. If I didn't, I didn't, and whatever. However, it's just more of that. I think it's me redefining where that balance is. And I do enjoy, posting my friends. I really don't mind that. They love it. They're having fun with it. I'm having fun with it. And I like the fact that I can still have fun with making content. It doesn't have to be, no, this is my business, While like sometimes that happens, but I still want it to be something that I enjoy and that is a part of my life. So that's a whole rant. But my updates is that I will be posting more often eventually. But as a creator, whether it's witchy or not or whatever, many of you are artists, many of you are small business owners, many of you are creators. So you understand when that wave of inspiration and that motivation hits, that's all you think about. It's maybe this is me, but it's a low-key kind of an obsession thing. And I always tell people, you really don't know how neurotic I am behind closed doors. It is very meticulous and very neurotic, and I have to make sure things are the way that I want them and do the things the way that I do them, which is why I've not hired an editor yet. I have hired one for one video, and while she was amazing, it's so hard for me to give people just let them do it. Updates, right? I will be posting more and all that, it's just the ride. So once that motivation and that inspiration hits again and it's going to come back, that's kind of how I personally do it. A lot of people ask me, how I stay motivated and whatnot. I don't. I don't stay motivated. I just allow myself to ride that wave, and as I'm riding it, I really go for it. I just let it consume me, and I make as much as I want to make, and I go for it. That's all I can think about. That's all I want to do. And I will just sit there and create and focus on that and edit and film and edit and film and take photos and draw and whatever. And like whatever that is, that's where all of that energy is going. And if I can, I make way more than I need to initially so that I can stockpile that for times like this, where I'm like, I would rather scrape my nails across a chalkboard than actually make something right now. Like there's just, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And if I did, it would be half-assed. All of you could tell, I know that it's so easy to come off like you're just pushing it. And it's just weird to watch creators just make content because they're supposed to make it. And it's just gross. And not bashing anybody who has, because I've done it. I've definitely done it. And all of you have noticed. But it is weird. It's just like this. It's not that you're not getting what you want from that creator because they're just doing it. They're not enjoying it. They don't want to do it. So that's, I will not bring myself to make something if I don't want to make it. I acknowledge how ridiculously privileged I am to be in this situation where if I just don't feel like making content, I won't. Well, I mean, there's days obviously that I'm like, I just don't feel like it. And you have to get up and just edit. You just have to get up and do the work. But I'm talking in like these dives down in this like descent almost to burnout where you just can't. You just physically cannot make anything. And I'm talking about that. And so the fact that I can take that time off to do that is still very new to me. But I am so incredibly grateful and so privileged that I'm able to do that. I'm in a position that I can, and you know, it's fucking crazy. And a big part of that is you all watching my videos. So thank you. And a bigger part of it is the Patreons that choose to support me when they can. Like, they're giving me their hard-earned money. They're buying me basically a coffee every month. And thank you for that, because Patrons, you have no idea what you do for me and what you do for my work and my channel. You are the backbone to a lot of what I am able to do. And you give me that space to be able to create how I want to create. So thank you for that. Like, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. So yeah, that is kind of just where I'm at. And that's how I handle like the burnout. So I'll ride that kind of like motivation wave and just make and create and edit and just pump out the content that I want to. But I'll save a lot most of the time. Most of the time I'll have enough that I save, so that when times like these, I'm like, oh, I don't have anything to post, I can use those that I've been just holding on to and give those to the audience in order to stay on schedule and to pay my bills and to keep that going. And hopefully it bleeds over into the next ride of motivation that I get, which this time around it did not. I did not have enough content to continue my schedule this time around, which panicked me for a little bit, but it's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. I'm still here. I'm still able to pay my bills, and I'm so incredibly grateful for that. Like, I'm financially stable, and thank God for that. But that's the life of the creator, right? You never know. So it's always prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. And yeah, that's kind of my update. And I hope that 2022 has been treating all of you so good. I'm gonna head over to Patreon. I'm gonna tell them just kind of all the things that I'm working on and little bits and pieces of kind of just like sneak peeks, I guess, or I don't know, whatever. They get like first looks and first things of like what I'm up to and kind of the things that I'm working on before everybody else, basically. You know, it's regular Patreon stuff. So if that is interesting to you and you have the means, then, you know, try it out, see if you like it. If you hate it, you can always cancel it. But if that sounds interesting to you, then I do like $5 a month, and I've had requests to up it to 10, both are the same. So whatever you want to, if you want to, then that's a thing. But Patreon is the thing that keeps my head above water in times like this. So again, thank you to them. But I will see you in the next video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck. Be kind to each other, and may your gods treat you as you've treated others.